Have you ever really thought about the power of your words? About the impact they can have on you and on those around you? It's an election year here in the United States, which usually means that the negative words will be flowing freely. So, how do we stay positive when everything around us is negative? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I'm your host, Shelly, and welcome to the Make Happiness Happen podcast. Hi, I'm Shelly Covert, and I have a question for you. Are you tired of putting on a fake smile and pretending you're happy when you're really not? Are you ready to stop chasing happiness and create it instead? This world we live in makes us believe we need something newer or bigger or better to be happy. But guess what? That's not real happiness. I'm going to teach you what I've learned about creating real, authentic happiness. So if you're ready to stop faking it and be happy for real, you're in the right place. This is the Make Happiness Happen podcast. This week, the Iowa caucus kicked off the 2024 election year here in the United States. I haven't always followed politics, but I have found myself paying more attention over the past several years. Now, this podcast episode is not about talking about specific candidates or parties or platforms. Instead, what I want to focus on is the energy behind most of the words that we hear during election years. I really feel that over the past 4 or 5 years, and honestly maybe even longer, our country has become even more divided. I feel like we as people have become less tolerant, less patient, and less kind. I really feel like social media has made this even easier. Instead of being nice to each other, we talk about people behind their backs. We post videos of people making mistakes. We make fun of people or say hurtful things about them without really thinking and probably without even caring about how it might affect them. It really feels like we care more and more about ourselves and less about anybody else. With it being an election year, I feel like this might get even worse because this is the time when our differences are pointed out. We have to pick a side. We can only vote for one candidate. We hear words like battle and fight. We see candidates pointing out the flaws and the failures of all the other candidates. We hear each side telling the other side everything that is wrong with their position. And after a while, the negativity almost becomes too much to bear. I think that's why in the past I would just stop paying attention, because it was just way too easy to get sucked into the yuck. It was way too easy to let the negativity change how I was feeling, and it was way too hard to stay positive when everything around me felt negative. Now, as I get older, I am realizing the importance of paying attention, of keeping my eyes and my ears open, of voting and doing what I can to help this country become a better place for the future generations. So, that brings me to my big question for today. How do we stay positive when so much of what we are seeing and hearing is negative? Well, today I'm going to share with you kind of my top 5 tips. Tip number 1, protect your energy by creating a safe space for yourself. Now, for me, this kind of tends to be home. I'm an introvert, and so for me, a safe space is when I can kind of be in my own space, not surrounded by a lot of people, just surrounded by those that are closest to me. It might be finding your favorite chair or, snuggling up in your bed with a nice cozy blanket, maybe grabbing a book that you like to read or something that just really helps you enjoy that positive energy. Okay? If you are an extrovert and you like being around people, then maybe it's just surrounding yourself with the people that you are closest to, but a lot of people, but the ones that you are closest to. The ones that you know will really help you protect your energy instead of draining that. Now, this can also mean taking a break from social media, from the news, from television, all those types of things, and just maybe taking a social media fast or something like that. Maybe it's getting outside and going for a walk, anything that you can do to really create a safe space for yourself so that you can protect your energy. And the best thing to do is to kind of plan ahead. So start thinking about where that space can be, because once we get kind of rolling with regular life, we tend to forget about those types of things. So that was tip number 1. Protect your energy by creating a safe space for yourself. Tip number 2 is to find a hobby or an activity that brings you joy. So take some time and actually think about what are the things that truly bring you joy. Do you enjoy doing puzzles or maybe reading a book? Maybe you like to quilt or draw or get outside and just hike, just spend time in nature. Whatever it is, figure out what that hobby or activity is and then schedule time each week and honestly, maybe even each day to focus on that hobby or activity. Okay. And then while you're at that, be sure you're turning off the negative voices. So if you like being outside and you like going for a run or a walk or something, don't have a podcast running in your head that's going to be filling you with all this political talk or all the negativity. Instead, maybe listen to some uplifting music, maybe something that makes you happy, energizes you. You know, that's part of this is we're taking a break from the negativity that we're hearing. And so we need to be vigilant about that. Find the music that makes you happy. Maybe it's a funny movie or a TV show. So maybe you want to sit and you're doing some quilting and you want to have something playing. Well, pick something that makes you laugh, something that brings that positive energy, that positive vibe. So you're really looking for something that's going to help bring that positive energy back into your space. Okay, so that was tip number 2. Find a hobby or an activity that brings you joy. Tip number 3 is to make your daily gratitude habit a priority. Okay, so we've talked a lot about this, the importance of daily gratitude, okay, and the importance of finding at least one thing every single day that you're grateful for. Well, during this season, when things tend to get a bit more negative, we're going to make this a priority. And what I want to encourage you to do is to start your day and end your day with your gratitudes. Okay, so start every day by writing down at least one thing you're grateful for. So first thing in the morning, maybe when your coffee is brewing or the water in the shower is heating up, write down one thing you're grateful for. Okay, what that's going to do is start your day by focusing your mind and your eyes on seeing the things that are good in your life. Okay, and by doing that, your mind is going to automatically find more of that positive. Okay, so you're going to become aware of the positive that's happening, and you're going to naturally see more of it. Okay, that's the importance of starting your day with gratitude. And then I also want you to end your day with gratitude. So maybe you, right before you go to bed or when you climb in bed, you write down one thing that you're grateful for from the day as well. And what this does is by ending your day this way, you're going to sleep with a positive mindset. Okay, that's going to kind of shift your brain into possibly more positive dreams, happy dreams. Maybe you won't have nightmares. You know, maybe the stress and the worry will dissipate because you're focused on the good things that happened. And that all is going to lead to a better night's sleep. Okay? And we know when we get a better night's sleep, when we're not sleep deprived, we just function better, right? It's easier to have a positive mindset when you've been getting sleep, when you're healthy, when you're taking care of your body. And sleep is very important with that. So tip number 3 is to make your daily gratitude habit a priority and to focus on that both when you start your day and when you end the day. Tip number 4 is be kind and thankful to the people around you. Okay, so when you see someone do something positive, give them a compliment. Did your kids get up in the morning and get ready for school without any fuss, or at least without a lot of fuss? Give them a compliment. Did your husband or your wife make you a cup of coffee without you even asking? Give them a compliment. Did somebody hold the door for you on your way to work, or when you drop the kids off at school, or going into an appointment? Say thank you. Let them know that you appreciate them and tell them what they did that you appreciate as well. And then return the favor. Do something kind for another person. There was one morning I was having a really rough morning. I was still working in an office at the time. And on my way to work that day, I'm like, I am going to stop and get a cup of coffee because it's just been one of those mornings already. And when I got in line, I ordered my coffee. And when I got up to the window, the coffee barista said to me, "Oh, the person in front of you paid for your coffee." Oh my goodness, you guys, that was incredible. It was this random act of kindness that probably made that person feel really good that they were able to help. But little did they know what an impact it had on me, because that just happened to be an extra rough morning, an extra rough day, and somebody did that for me. So you don't know what's going on in the lives of other people. But what I do believe completely is that if we are kind and if we are grateful and we show appreciation, that is going to have a positive impact on the lives of the people around us. And honestly, when you do something kind for somebody else, it is positive for you too. It can't help but make you feel happier or just feel lighter, feel more grateful because you know you're spreading some goodness in the world. So that is tip number 4. Be kind and thankful to the people around you. And tip number 5 is to smile. So have you ever noticed how when you smile at someone, they usually smile back? Now, I've been testing this for a while now when I'm out and about or when I'm at work, and my goal is to smile at every person that I see. And you know what? Most of the time, not always, but most of the time they smile back at me. Now, I know that the smile might not last long, but did you know that your body actually releases 3 hormones that make you feel good when you smile? So those include dopamine, endorphins, and serotonin. Those are the hormones that signal your body that you're happy, which then in turn makes you feel happier. So it is true that science actually shows that smiling can lift your mood, it can lower your stress, it can boost your immune system, and maybe even help you live longer. Okay, so all of that from a smile. All right, so when you see people, and especially, I kind of take it as a challenge. If there's somebody that looks like they're having a rough day, I really work hard to smile at them, make eye contact and smile. Now, obviously not being awkward or anything like that, but just let them know that I see them. I want them to be happy, that, all those things. So that is tip number 5, is to smile. Okay, and make an effort to smile at everybody. Maybe in the middle of a disagreement or an argument, smile. And maybe that will change kind of the atmosphere, change the feelings of things. But that is tip number 5, is to smile. So what do you think of my 5 tips? Shall we quick refresh? Okay, so the 5 tips to staying positive were: tip number 1, protect your energy by creating a safe space for yourself. Tip number 2, find a hobby or an activity that brings you joy. Tip number 3, make your daily gratitude habit a priority. Tip number 4, be kind and thankful to the people around you. And tip number 5 is to smile. Okay, so I would ask you which one of these you're going to try first, but I really do want you to try all of them. I think they're all very simple. They are things that we can each be doing more of every single day. And I really think that as probably the negativity from, all the politics and things like that, we're going to probably start hearing some of that. As we hear that, let's work together to really try to bring the positivity back in and to try to focus on the positivity in our life and just, try to make everybody else happier as well. So that is my challenge for you, is to take these 5 tips, start implementing them into your life. And I would love to, hear about what you're experiencing from that. So as always, you can email me at Shelly@makehappinesshappen.com and just share what your experiences are with these 5 tips. And until our next episode, my friends, choose to be happy. As always, thank you so much for tuning into the Make Happiness Happen podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to podcasts. And even better, leave a positive review. If you want to dive deeper into the topics and discussions we have here, I would encourage you to head over to makehappinesshappen.com and sign up for my newsletter. It's the best way for us to get to know each other even better. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time on the Make Happiness Happen podcast.